Welcome to the Yukon Gold Podcast with Will S. Yukon Gold is creating a sustainable future for everyone on planet Earth. We help people to reach their full potential by delivering the gold standard in energy, design, education, and installation. Today, I'm getting back on the podcast saddle to talk about COVID-19 and the Great Reset, their partners at the World Economic Forum, and Canada's action on the 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals. Not to mention the end of fiat currency and the beginning of a digitally controlled loonie by our liberal dictatorship government, backed by Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh of the NDP. This podcast is where I talk about sovereignty. I talk about a lasting legacy for future generations and how to get off the grid and become your own person under the law, and not have to be a part of the system. So mainly I talk about contributism, which is based upon the concept that a person is happiest and also most efficient when he or she or they are doing something that they are good at. It's based on the conjecture that people actually enjoy contributing to their society, and the only reason they do not do it more often is there's not enough opportunities to do so. Okay. We have a Discord group, Telegram, and you can also book me on my Calendly. So, just getting right into it here. What is the Great Reset and the World Economic Forum? Well, since its entry, the COVID-19, I'm just reading directly from the Great Reset. It's material that they put out themselves. COVID-19 has dramatically torn up the existing script of how to govern countries, live with others, and take part in the global economy. Written by the Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab and the Monthly Barometer author Thierry Malleret. COVID-19, the Great Reset. I gotta pause, guys. Somebody's taking a poop upstairs. Yukon Gold, why are we different? We're here to help people get off the grid. So when I say get off the grid, that means metaphorically, spiritually, and physically. We do not support Agenda 2030, nor the goals for the Economic Forum. And we think that carbon neutrality is a joke. And we have a suite of options available to live as free and sovereign as possible. So I am quoting directly from the COVID-19 Great Reset put out by the WEF, the World Economic Forum. It's written by founder Klaus Schwab and author Thierry Malleret, very French guy. So the book's main objective is to help understand what's coming in the multitude of domains. Published in July of 2019, amid of the crisis and waves of infection, it is a hybrid between the contemporary essay and academic snapshot of a crucial moment in history. So I have put out this theory that, it's not just my theory, it's also Terence McKenna's, that we have entered into a period of novel time, and the 2020 COVID-19 crisis, in quotation marks, is one of the main markers that we have passed it. And as we progress closer and closer to 2030 and into the 2040s, things are just going to start speeding up, guys. I am, I'm trying to do my very best to remain positive amidst all of this. So if you want to read this, it's out there. I can link it in the description as well. The book has three main chapters, including a panoramic overview of the future landscape. The first assesses what the impact of the pandemic will have on five key macro categories: economics, the economic, societal, geopolitical, environmental, and technological factors. The second considers the effects in micro terms on specific industries and companies. And the third hypothesizes about the nature of the possible consequences at an individual level. So, as I mentioned, in July of 2020, we are at a crossroads. We're now 2.5 years, just about past 2 years past the initial pandemic in March of 2020. Um, in Canada, we are still under lockdown by our own government. Um, and it is quite apparent that the World Economic Forum has installed, various politicians. The Young Globals Leaders Program uh, had Trudeau earmarked from a very long time ago to become the Prime Minister of Canada, just because he does what he's told. I'm not conspiracy theory or anything like that. I've seen what's going on, and we we don't have true sovereignty anymore in this country. Uh, the Yeah. So if you want to keep reading this, feel free. Klaus Schwab was born in Germany. 1971, he published The Modern Enterprise Management in Mechanical Engineering. He holds multiple doctorates and engineering degrees. Um, his latest books are The Fourth Industrial Revolution, 2016, and worldwide bestseller, translated in 30 languages. And then Thierry Mallory, born in 1961, managing partner of the Monthly Barometer, um, educated in l'École des Hautes Études et Sciences et Sociales in Paris, and St. Anthony's College in Oxford. Again, very educated guy, degrees in economics and history, PhD. Um, so I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm just going to highlight some things. The macro reset includes defining characteristics of today's world, interdependence, velocity, complexity, the economic reset. Um, I don't know how much you guys know about economics, but um, since 1971, since they got rid of the gold standard in the United States, our currency is not backed by a physical entity anymore. It's backed by more money. So the Federal Reserve in the United States, you know, they they actually have a license to print money. They can literally, if they want to add more money, they can just do so. Since 2018, they have pumped in 20% of the money supply. So the reason that we're having such high inflation is because the money supply actually has been increased. Therefore, the individual dollar value is uh, is not the same. So since 1971, we've had 600% inflation. You can go find a basic inflation calculator and do the math. It's not hard. Um, and that means for every $1 that you could have earned in 1971, now you have to earn $42 equivalently in order to make up $1 in 1971 currency, which for the average person is quite difficult. So we're moving from a middle class society to a working class society. Um, and we're also working towards more of a chaste society again, where you have, if anyone's familiar with the Brave New World, we have the alphas and the betas, the deltas and the epsilons. So you have the working class, like the people that serve you coffee, or work menial jobs. Unfortunately, that's not going to work in our future, because robots or automation are replacing most of our non-essential tasks. 'Cause if you ever go to, let's say, a Walmart anymore, or Save on Foods, you can basically go to a self checkout. Um, they're making it extremely difficult, to you know to help out impoverished people. There's no reason in North America that we should have, at least in British Columbia, the latest statistic that I know is, 1 in 5 children are living in poverty. um, British Columbia is a fairly prosperous province, um, but unfortunately we're not distributing the wealth properly. There's a lot of crony capitalism that goes on. Um, Anyways, so the World Economic Forum, they put themselves out there as developed a reputation as a trusted platform for informed collaboration and cooperation between stakeholders, and reinforced a track record of success over 5 decades. So they've been doing this since 1970. So that's how long Klaus Schwab has been involved in this, right? And if you look him up, if you look beyond, the doctorates and the false front, it's actually not a great guy. The forum now offers experience in purpose-driven communities in the service of extraordinary challenge and opportunity the world faces for the Great Reset. His I don't know if you guys know this. If you look him up, his famous quote is, you will own nothing and be happy." So we're unfortunately falling back towards a form of communism, and it's going to be attached to a social credit score, right? Whether you are vaccinated or unvaccinated or somewhere in between, wherever your feelings on that are, it's it's kind of imperative um, that you don't allow yourself to fall into the trap, uh, of being too blue pill. You need to start looking at the truth and doing a little bit of research, right? Here in Canada, lately, the big thing that's coming down the pipeline, I think, is a digital ID. So they've already they've already conditioned us, or already are conditioning people to accept a vaccination and get a QR code. And the next logical step is to get a digital identification, right? So it's just another form of control and tracking system. And then the other reset they're going to try and do, because Canada is just swallowed the World Economic Forum's policies, hook, line, and sinker, is going to be, if you look at the new 2020 Canadian budget buried right near the back of the document on page 214, you see the Trudeau Liberals are readying a next step which could have a massive implications for every Canadian. It's the creation of a central bank digital currency, right? So I encourage you now to get out of fiat currency. Okay, leave it completely. Do your research though. when it comes to the various other options. There are a suite of crypto options. There are a suite of hard assets you could get into. You could get into real estate. You can get into gold or silver. I personally recommend Lodecoin, and just because it's backed by physical gold and silver again. We're going to see increasingly the the crypto markets more become more part of regular society. Yeah, and we are hopefully not going towards full Chinese style social credit. Uh, the liberals having their ideology govern the way that the digital loonie would work is very appealing. So this is written by uh, FM News. So they're Free Mind News. So it's an alternative news site. I don't follow much of the mainstream media anymore. But for example, if you want to buy a new hunting rifle or ammunition, if you have the liberal loonie, for purchases that are now prohibited, and if you drive a gas guzzling pickup truck, you could have exceeded your carbon credit allotment for the month. That's another thing I wanted to get into. We increased the carbon credit, um, nationally was increased to 50 $50 per ton now. So we have seen gas prices in Canada exceed $2 per liter. And if if you're a liberal supporter, if the government wants to buy some votes, your loony can magically appear in your digital wallet. And I think we're destined for some, not war per se, but we are going to be hitting some hard times. And things like, political free speech. Like, I don't know, man. The this this podcast has been, relatively benign up until now. Um, but I often talk about political things on here. So I don't belong to anti-government groups or anything like that. But I'm just I'm just a guy with a bit of life experience, and I'm seeing what's happening in the world. The government in Ottawa is both mendacious and authoritarian. They love the power and the control. If you see any of the videos lately of Justin Trudeau, he's completely lost his mind. Like, he just says things that make absolutely no sense, and they're they're borderline crazy. You know, um, they would love lately to have the pervasive ability to enforce their will without limitations, right? As you can tell from the trucker convoys and how that was conveyed, right? It really showed, 7.2 million Canadians right now who are unvaccinated, right? It's basic math. We have a population of just about 38 million people. You take 80% who are vaccinated with two doses or more. You do some basic math. You come out to around the 7 million mark. You know, we are we are actually now prisoners in our own country. Even if I have a a traditional Canadian passport, I cannot leave. And it's gotten to the point where people are getting desperate. You can cross most land borders if you you know what you're doing and you say the right thing, because people aren't really enforcing the passports. But when it starts to crack down, it may it may look, or may start to get a little uh a little dicey. um I just want to say what this is probably going towards. uh, with Klaus Schwab and the Economic Forum is actually a one world government. I'm not trying to make this stuff up or again be conspiracy theory. Um, but we're there if you look at what some of these people who are been heavily invested in the vaccination, so Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson Johnson, and like the Bill Gates Foundation, right? Heavily, you know, heavily invested in the outcome of the vaccination programs. Uh, he's actually said it out loud. If you look anything about Bill Gates, unless it's been doxed or whatever, he 100% is supporting population control. So yeah, so I'm just a guy. I know this podcast has been a little bit disjointed today. Um, I'm gonna try and end it here on a positive note. Um, if you're looking for options to become sovereign, if you're looking for options to go off the grid, um, basically, if you're an accredited real estate investor, skilled tradesperson, legal or medical professional, farming professional, please, if you like to get involved, please reach out to me via my LinkedIn profile or any of my Twitter handles. Uh, you should probably have your own zombie plan, or what I call, yeah, a zombie preparedness plan. And it's just like if the world completely loses all reality and we have to, fend for ourselves, sort of thing. The LinkedIn is available. Just search Yukon Gold Partnership. I'm on Facebook as Yukon Gold 89X. I have my Twitter account at Yukon Gold Energy, and the same as my Instagram. And I have the YouTube channel of the same name. Please leave us a review on Podchaser. It's the best place. Um, or lovethepodcast.com. Follow, like, subscribe on your favorite platform. You can get in touch with yukongoldenergy.com/contact. I have my link tree, and yeah, have yourself a great and prosperous day. Uh, Namaste from Will S. Cheers.